Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful village, there lived a curious 12-year-old boy. He was full of energy and dreams, always wondering about the future and how he could become successful. One day, he decided to visit his grandfather, who lived in an old village far away. After many years, he was finally back at his grandfather's house, excited to spend time with him. As soon as he arrived, the boy couldn't stop asking questions. One day, while playing outside, he turned to his grandfather and said, "Grandpa, when I grow up, I want to be very successful. Can you teach me how I can achieve that?" His grandfather, a wise and thoughtful man, smiled at his grandson. "Of course," he said, "but instead of telling you, let me show you something." He took the boy by the hand and led him to a nearby plant shop. The shop was full of small, delicate plants, each one carefully placed in tiny pots. The grandfather bought 2 small plants and took them back home. Once they were home, the grandfather planted one of the plants in a large pot and placed it inside the house, safe from the outside world. The other plant was planted in the ground outside, exposed to the sun, wind, and rain. After finishing, the grandfather asked his grandson, "What do you think? Which plant will grow better and stronger in the future?" The boy thought for a moment. He looked at the plant inside the house and said, "I think the one inside will grow better. It's safe from all the dangers outside. No harsh sun, no storms, no animals. It's protected." His grandfather smiled and said, "We'll see. Let's give them some time and see what happens." 4 years passed, and the boy, now older, returned to his grandfather's village once again. He was excited to see his grandfather and remembered the conversation they had years ago. As soon as he arrived, he asked, "Grandpa, last time I asked you how to become successful, and you didn't give me a direct answer. Now you have to tell me." His grandfather chuckled and said, "Before I tell you, let's go check on those 2 plants we planted years ago." They first went to see the plant inside the house. It had grown into a small tree, not very tall, but it was healthy and green. Then, they stepped outside to look at the second plant. To the boy's surprise, the small plant that was once outside had grown into a gigantic tree. Its branches stretched wide and high, covering the entire ground with its shadow. The tree looked strong and majestic, its bark rough and its branches firm. The grandfather turned to the boy and asked, "Now tell me, which plant has grown bigger and stronger? Which one is more successful?" The boy stared at the enormous tree in awe. "The one outside, Grandpa. But I don't understand. That plant must have faced so many dangers, storms, harsh sunlight, animals, yet it grew into this huge tree. How is that possible?" His grandfather smiled and said, "You're right. The plant outside faced many challenges. It was exposed to strong winds, heavy rains, and scorching sun. But it's because of those challenges that it grew so tall and strong. Each time it faced a difficulty, it adapted, became stronger, and its roots dug deeper into the ground. The tree learned to withstand the challenges of the world, and that's why it's so mighty now." The boy listened carefully as his grandfather continued. "The plant inside the house, on the other hand, was safe and comfortable. It never had to struggle, never had to face adversity. That's why it didn't grow as much. It stayed small because it never needed to strengthen itself. The challenges that could have made it strong never came." The grandfather paused for a moment and then looked deep into the boy's eyes. "Son, remember this. Success doesn't come from avoiding challenges. It comes from facing them. Just like that tree, you have to go through difficulties in life. If you only choose the easy, comfortable path, you'll never grow to your full potential. But if you embrace the struggles and keep pushing forward, no matter how hard things get, you'll become stronger and more successful than you ever imagined." The boy took a deep breath and looked up at the towering tree once again. His grandfather's words echoed in his mind, and he understood the lesson. Success isn't about avoiding difficulties. It's about learning from them and using them to grow. The lesson. Friends, life will always bring us challenges, obstacles, and hardships. We often think of them as enemies, but in reality, they are the very things that make us stronger, wiser, and more successful. Just like the tree that grew tall and mighty by facing the storms, we too must face our struggles head-on. Remember, if your life has no challenges, it means you're not pushing yourself hard enough. True success is found in growth, and growth only happens when we step outside of our comfort zone and embrace the struggles life throws our way. So face your challenges with courage, and you'll find that no goal is out of reach. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Improve Mind for more thought-provoking stories. Until next time, take care and stay happy.